Good morning, humankind. This is Rudolf of Germany, the tall white alien. Oh, Donald, what have you done? Was the first thing which came into my mind this morning when I was informed that Donald Trump made his first major blunder on the world political stage by endorsing the Zionist political agenda to deny the Palestinian people a homeland, and also by endorsing the settlement agenda, the settlement politic of Israel. This was a very major mistake. He is not even in office yet, and he already opens his presidency to the influence of the Zionists, and with this to the same people who controlled Mrs. Hillary Clinton and Mr. Obama. As a New Yorker, Donald Trump is very well aware of the strong influence of the Jewish lobby onto the American political arena. In this case, he is a person who thinks realistically, but at the same time he has no diplomatic experience, and because of that opens his White House doors far for the influence of the Netanyahu government and the international financial lobby of the Zionists. The very people who were controlling, as I said, the Clintons and the Obamas, who come into his politics from the back door. Well, he should be aware of the fact that Israel is a silent partner of Saudi Arabia, mainly through the arms lobby and arms industry, providing weapons for ISIS or IS, which in turn again fights the Syrian and the Iraqi army and governments, which are basically, in the Syrian case at least, are supported by Donald Trump. By Vladimir Putin. Putin is trying to hold back ISIS and destroy ISIS in Syria, and ISIS is getting the weapons from America through Israel and Saudi Arabia. And if Donald Trump opens himself up by endorsing the settlement policy to Israel, he is basically, without knowing it yet, falling into the back of Russia and Putin, who try to get some stability into the Near East, which is not wanted by the Netanyahu government, which is interested in a greater Israel and in destabilizing the Near East in order to achieve this goal. At the same time, you cannot, as Donald Trump did, speak of closing the borders and do not let any more immigrants from the Near East into the United States. Do not let any more Muslims into the United States, and at the same time denying a segment of the Muslim population in the Near East, the Palestinians, their right to a homeland. This is very bad diplomacy, and this is very bad politics. You cannot on the one hand tell people you have no right to live in your own country, and give another country the green light to occupy their land, and at the same time when certain segments of the Muslim population try to flee the horror which is created, deny their right of a safe refuge. Vladimir Putin himself is a very seasoned politician and diplomat by now, and he has learned to have an acceptable good relationship to Israel, because the Israeli lobby and the Jewish influence on Russia is relatively great, and to keep a good relationship with Israel is fundamentally important for him, to him. But he would never endorse the settlement in the West Bank. He would never do this because he knows that this is a catastrophic decision. And through the Greater Israel idea and plans of the Netanyahu and the Zionists government, he would also weaken his interests in the Near East and would bring the power balance, which is already completely destroyed, even in deeper trouble. So, Mr. Donald Trump, this was your first big blunder in international politics and diplomacy. Do have a good relationship to Jewish people, because the majority of them are fine people, but be aware that there is also a very powerful segment of Zionists which try to infiltrate your politics and come into the White House through the back door, and this is exactly what happened to the Obama administration, and this is also the stranglehold which Mrs. Hillary Clinton had to endure in order to enrich herself and her family as she did. Do not fall into the same trap. Keep your independence. You have by now the power, well, soon have the power, to also try to get some stability in the Near East. And I would suggest, as I did in the last video, to have a good and strong relationship to Russia, bring stability into the Near East by having a clear stance against the Zionistic settlement policies and expansionistic ideas. This way you can show that you have some testicles, which of course the Obama administration never showed. This was my message for today, a stern warning to Mr. Donald Trump, and I wish everybody of you a pleasant day.